Hello, I just want to go ahead and give you a video tutorial on how I want you to do the assignment. You are not supposed to do this in Photoshop. I'm usually doing this by hand. I only have it in Photoshop so I can actually record and be able to show you what I want it to look like. Your walk jump cycle, the field reference guide that you made, I think a couple weeks ago, where you actually show your guy with the walk and then when he's going to jump, that's what I want you to be drawing on. All you're doing is numbering it. So I'm just going to go to my layers palette. On here, I'm going to unhide all of my layers that I've created. And you can see that I have a full field reference sheet, just like we did with the bouncing ball. It starts at 1, ends at 46. If you think about time, and I told you in the assignments on the assignments, that 1 full second is 24 frames. So 2 seconds is 48 frames. So we're just shy of 2 seconds worth of animation. What I want you to be able to do is show me what a full walk would be. And really that is just, for my case, I had 17 frames. Okay, so 1 through 17 created a full walk. You'll also notice that the heads have an arc to them. They are never at the constant, like touching that top guideline, because our body has an arc to how we walk. We have, whenever we dip down in order to land on our feet, our whole body comes down too. And then when we are completely upright, that's when you actually have that we're at our tallest. I duplicated those 17 frames to add another cycle of the whole walk. So if I highlight all of those images on my layers palette, you can see that number 1 became number 18, and so on and so forth until number 17 became frame 34. Okay, we usually write that as 34F. I just didn't do that in this case, but I want you to do that for yours. And then afterwards, and I'll hide like the first few there just so you can see this, I continued to make the jump. You can see he starts off there, then he moves a little bit farther, bends down. This is your anticipation. And then he leaps up. It's like your stretch. He's jumping up a little bit. He starts to get a little bit more momentum, losing speed and coming down, and then landing, and then he's right there. So I'm going to hide all of these. Oops. And I have one still visible. I'm on layer 1, which I should be on this. I'm going to put down my mic for a second. Okay, so I've highlighted all of my frames down here because I'm just going to throw them away since I kind of messed up the animation. I just want you to see what a walk cycle would look like. I'm going to go make frames from layers. And I have all of those frames. Going to throw away that first one because it's the background. I'm not going to make you do a background for this. And then see how he walks. He's kind of slow also because my computer's kind of chugging. There's his jump, and he's done. Now, what I need you guys to do for your online assignment, your homework, is that on Friday, you need to bring back your field reference sheet, and this is the one that doesn't have all the in-betweens, although if that's the only one that you have, bring it back. I want you to label all of your frames, all your key frames. So what are the most important parts of your animation? So the most important part, I would say, would be frame 1 when he starts off. You can go to the end of that cycle, frame 17. In my case, yours might be a different number. It just depends on how long yours takes to get to that position where, see how number 17, his leg is just behind, it's bent, and then number 1, his back leg now has extended further. So you want to make it so that it makes sense that if I were to end on 17 and make number 18, it'd be the same drawing as number 1. Okay, it's the exact same, so number 18 will be the same as number 1 because we're just going to make a loop out of it. So I need you to figure out what's the frames that you would make, what are the drawings that you would make to get to where you could loop it and it looks fine. Yours might be 12, and so it may take you 12 frames in order to get to the leg being ready to go number 13, a repeat of number 1. So that's important. I would say the next one would be for sure just about when he's gonna jump, and that was after 34, so like 36 or something. Let's see here. This was 34, so 35 would have been my next one. So frame 34 for me was when he ended his walk, and then frame 35, which I don't have written down here, but you should, would be when the walk or the jump cycle is going to start. And then on the jump cycle, it would most likely be whatever that middle part is, his highest point. Okay. In between here, another key frame, wherever that middle is, I would say on this case, for me, probably frame 6, where he's kind of in between those. So those are my key frames. Number 6 would be there, and then probably number 12, number 23 would be the next. So you could see that it's the duplicate. I just want you to number them. I want to know what numbers you have for one full walk cycle. What would it take to loop it? And so what would it end on that frame number? And where does your jump number start? So where does what frame number does your jump start? And then your loop. So for me, my loop ends at 17. Number 18 would be where it starts over again back at 1. But your numbers might be a little different. Okay?